Hey everyone, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. It's not going to be a new pen day because we've seen these pens before, but it's going to be a new nib day. So I actually started filming a video a couple of days ago, and look, I just had an ink disaster. I, from pen friend H, was given a set of the gouletpens Yoga number 5 nibs. And I saw that they fit into the Jinhao 82s really well. I love these pens, but with the Jinhao nibs, I was really struggling to write on the Tomoe River paper, and really any good quality paper, even on the bank paper. And pardon me, I was talking about how, I don't remember in which video, but I think I was saying like this one had the medium nib and it seemed to be working okay on like the cheaper paper at work. And you know, Cyril Nana pointed out that maybe it's actually feathering somewhat, but it's giving the illusion of better ink flow, you know, because of that. Anyway, so what I thought is I'm going to try and put the gouletpens Yovo nibs on. I started with this one and I put the fine nib on, and it stopped working halfway through. Fiddled with it, got it working. It was actually too wet at work. So I actually went, do you know what? I want to try what the extra fine feels like, because the other pen that I'm using consistently at work is my Moonman, which does have an extra fine. And then I went, well, maybe it'd be fun to kind of do an extra fine and a broad. So I've put a broad nib in this one, and I've put 2 Van Diemen's inks in. So it's to say, obviously I'm not going to post that video. We're going to scrap that, and I'm going to do 2 new nib day videos now. Use my little thing there, and I'm double parked. I've got my wine, got the rest of my Questran. Side note, I learned that in Australia at the moment there is a shortage of Questran. So starting off, this is the Jinhao 82 in pale blue. It originally came with a fine nib, cartridge converter pen. And this now has, if I can bring it up here, you can see the little, can you see the GP, the gouletpens logo, number 5 extra fine nib, steel nib. And this is inked with Van Diemen's from the Summer Series Wineglass Bay. I think it might actually be Tassie Wineglass Bay. Now I need to remember because I don't know what it's called. Tassie Seasons Summer Wineglass Bay. So it's not a new pen day. If you have done nib swaps, I'd love to know what's worked, what hasn't. I've got a whole set of these gouletpen Yoga number 5 nibs, so you know, really happy to explore. So thinking about how I'm going to do this, this is the and the first thing that is obvious to me is that it's writing on this paper. And before, with that Jinhao nib, it was like it was dragging and hard. It wasn't even hard, it was just skipping. It just wasn't writing. So all of a sudden, I have, that's a weird G, an improvement, because I am actually getting ink on the paper. The other thing I'm noticing, which I did notice with the fine nib as well, what have I just written, is it's wet. And it's not like this. I have no idea what I just did there, guys. Oh, what a mess. Because I haven't left myself any room to write the ink. Oh, I'm so annoyed by that. So when this has Van, do I even write the ink usually? Oh, this is a mess. Tassie. What a mess. Oh, I'm so annoyed with myself. What I'm noticing is the level of ink coming out, that it's a wet writer now. I didn't find it was an overly wet pen before with the Jinhao nib. Obviously, I haven't done anything to the feed, but maybe in terms of how that feed is making contact with this nib. I'm so upset by that. You know, I watch these videos and people are so consistent. They never make mistakes. It's just not my vibe. So I'll show you this. We'll just go no pressure. And this is with a little bit of pressure, and you can see it's getting something there. And now I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So to me, that's showing it's quite wet. I'm interested. I want to explore a little bit more that. There's a little bit of give in that, isn't there? It's not a super stiff nib at all, and I think you can see that there. You are getting a slight, even if it's just a slight bit of variation, you can see even just with the amount of ink coming down with that pressure, which is interesting to see. So all in all, I think that is a much better experience than what I was having with that the Jinhao nib. I'll see if I can quickly find in my journal. If I pull this one out, try and find that page for you. So can you see that there? That is what it was doing. It just was not working for me. See if I can find, I wrote like one entry with the fine nib that I'm just trying to find. There. So on this paper, you're not seeing too much of like the line variation between the fine and the extra fine, but I did definitely find with the cheaper paper I did. And I've just really enjoyed using these pens at work. I'm not worried if they get lost because they are on the cheaper side. So the first new nib day for today is the gouletpens UV number 5 extra fine. Not sure why I went rogue with how I write it out, but hey, consistently inconsistent. So what I'm going to do now is I thought we've seen what the extra fine looks like. Why don't we have a look at the broad? Now, the first time I ever inked up this pen, I inked it up with Van Diemen's Black Tongue Spider Orchid and absolutely loved it. So I finished off the sample. I have like this tiny bit left, but I've put that in here. This pen, exactly the same as the other. This is called the Volcano Grey. It's got the gold trim, whereas the other had the silver. This actually came with like a two-tone nib, Jinhao nib, which was really nice. Wrote better than the fine, but still was having some trouble. It would write, but it would definitely have skipping on better quality paper. Same thing, you can see the little goulet, what's it called there? So I've never written with a Yovo broad at all, so this is going to be a completely new experience. How awesome is that colour? It's actually, I mean, wow, it's putting down a decent amount of ink. You can see that there. It feels very smooth. Oh, it's quite bouncy actually. As silly as this might sound, I think I'm still learning what my handwriting with a broad nib feels like, looks like, should be. I am really exploring it, but just to stop there, I'm going to bring that up closer because that has laid down a pretty beautiful amount of ink. You can see the shading in the day there, but look at that E. That E is still super wet. So whatever the relationship with these nibs are with the feed, we're getting a lot more ink through the tines and onto the page. And so this is the Jinhao 82. Oh, wow. This is really beautiful to write with. I have tried, I've got maybe I have tried a Yovo Broad. I have in my Pens by Casey and also a Twisby one. This has been the best experience so far. And I know I'm only like a few letters in, but interesting. This is the Goulet. And I also just love the colour. Look at that. So, I mean, it's just a nice width. I think it just feels really nice on the page. I'm trying to just think a little bit to really explain it. It doesn't feel, it feels smooth, but without, like it doesn't feel like it's running away from you. I feel like I have control of the pen, which feels good. I hate it when you actually feel like it could just run away. I think it makes, at least for me, my handwriting a lot messier. There's definitely a bounciness to it there, quite a bit. So this is no pressure. This is, I'm going to do medium pressure. Actually, and this is then a little bit more. Oh, there you go. Does it just now snap back? I've run it too hard. All right, I'll give that a moment for the feed to re-saturate. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for there. Okay, that took me an annoyingly long time to fix, but I guess also serves me right for trying to push a pen to do something it's not designed to do. But even if I go back to just little bits of pressure, kind of similar to before, it's not about line variation, but I think it is just about the amounts of ink you're getting in. I think this one deserves a picture. That is just a beautiful ink. And can you see, I mean, one good thing about the fact that I had to stop for so long is that it is dried. And you can see the bits of shading coming up in there. Really, really beautiful. So I'll finish off with a picture, and then that can be it for these new nib day videos. I mean, this pen with a broad nib, I'm not going to be able to use at work, or we just use cheap paper at work and it will just feather like crazy. But I can't wait to journal with this, and I just think it's a really beautiful colour as well. Gorgeous. So there you have it, guys. These are the two goulet pen nibs that I've put on my Jinhao 82s. We had the extra fine nib. This was the fine, but wasn't really working, and I just need to do some rejigging, and then that's the extra fine, but you can still see a decently wet pen there. And then this was the broad. Van Diemen's Tassie Wine Glass Bay in the first, and Van Diemen's Black Tongue Spider Orchid in the second. I'll bring that up close because I just think it's so pretty. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know what Franken pen works for you, what you've tried and explored. I think it's so much fun to do, and I can't wait to speak to you guys soon. Bye.